Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. What's up guys, Altcoin Chirper here with the Crypto Market Review. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert doing research. Today I'm just going to review Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think this overall price action is very standard for Bitcoin. After you see a big move down, you'll generally see multiple days of low volatility. So you'll notice that after the first big move, as I said, you're going to see a lot of chop and consolidation, and it's a lot different price action than if you had just seen slow grind down. So for example, like, if you see something slow grinding down like this, there's not necessarily going to be a low volatility point after that. What I'm more talking about is when you see something chop around, boom, hit negative 10% or something like that. At that point, you have a lot of volatility within the next few hours, and then after that, it just becomes very calm. And I talked about this type of price action on my last video as well, but generally speaking, you're going to see price action like this, where you see big move down, buyers immediately step in, so you'll see a big wick oftentimes, and price will consolidate near here. And then you'll oftentimes see price come back down near the low, swing past the low, or get closer to the low, and then potentially go back up again. That's very common behavior. And you'll also see, where it just chops around like this, and then you'll also see consolidate and then potentially make another leg down, depending on the overall context of the move and the overall context of the market. So this type of price action is very common. If you want to actually buy some coins, then you'll probably look to buy relatively soon if you believe that this is going to be the low. So generally speaking, as I said before, you'll see it get close to these lows, and you'll either see some sort of higher low and then go up, or you'll see it break below and then you'll go a little higher. This is very common behavior. And if you want to really see legitimate levels, you're going to have to scroll down to the lowest time frames. This is the 5 minute, and if you go down to like the seconds or minute, then you'll see a lot more levels within this overall move. But as it currently stands, this all just disappears when you start to use higher time frame charts. And you can even see, like, that was a 5 minute level that I used. You can see that it wicked below there. So, these levels are relevant. You just can't see it with this wick overall. So, generally speaking, when you're trying to play these types of moves, you'll want to go to very low ticks, and you'll just want to see that type of price action develop. But overall, what I'm trying to say is that this type of price action here is very common, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see like the 25K area get tapped. So, and this is something I actually said even on the day of, August 17th, where we did have this big move down. I said that it'd be very common for it to come down, strong move down, strong volatility within the first few hours, and then eventually come back near the lows again. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now. Let's take a look at it, what it looks like contextually speaking, like from an overall higher time frame point of view. To me, the market structure is still intact, although it depends on the type of chart that you're looking at. Like, for example, what I mean by intact is I mean that higher highs and higher lows are still intact. With that said, it's a little bit scary, because if you look at these lows established, followed by, next high, low, higher low, market structure is still intact, right? But there's a little bit of a warning sign over the last few days and that last few weeks, and the warning signs are that this recent high that was established back in April, the recent high that we saw here was not a convincing higher high. This is pretty much equal highs, all things considered. When you want to see higher high, you wanted to see it stand out on the chart clearly. So, like, for example, this higher high set in mid-April was clearly higher than the high set in February. And, the high in February was clearly higher than anything set in December. And these are very significant higher highs that are very clear on the chart. Alternatively, these lows that were established back in March, middle of March, and June, these were higher lows. But on several different exchanges, we did see a big liquidation event where this recent low got tapped right here, and it's it's a lower low in that regard. And as I said before, in terms of the overall high, it's very close to the same higher high, or it's the same high that we saw back in April. So I think there's some really big concerns overall with like the overall trend here. And you can even debate now that the overall trend is now shifted bearish because we saw a lower high and because we actually just saw a lower low. Now, what are some things that would make me change my bias? Some things that would make me change my bias is to see this next low established and have it be a significant higher low over the previous one back set in June. And then if we clearly break this 32K area, then I think it's just okay. However, if we start to see price, chop around and forms a low and then it comes back up, call it 30K, and then it starts to look weak again, at that point, I think that you just probably assume that it's over for a long time. And you assume that some of these other levels that price has not tapped in many, many months, those are the areas that you're going to target. So you'd target 20K, you target kind of this 22K area. These are all areas that I would look for on the left for considerations if you start to see this lower high, this true lower high develop. Now, as I said, it's still okay for now, but I'm very, very cautious. I don't believe that it's a must-buy situation, and it wouldn't surprise me at all to see this actually trade lower over the next several months. I did have an idea of it going to 35 to 40K overall, but with this recent price action, and I was actually already starting to think that this was starting to look kind of iffy back in kind of the July time period, where you saw this equal high. It's just not very convincing in my opinion. So, you might just see the price, make this lower high, and then we just chop the rest of the year. Maybe we have like one more shakeout. Maybe it goes, I don't know, 25, whatever, and then we hit all the way back down to 20K, and then just chop around from that point, and maybe that's just the bottom. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I do believe that the next several weeks should be pretty important in terms of seeing where this low is at and where the subsequent high is at, because as I said before, it is a bit concerning. But as it currently stands, I think this price action is very normal for what we see after a big dump. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see this kind of go back up a little bit higher. So in the short term, so maybe we see something like this where it trades back down, maybe 25K, and then it starts to fill in some of this inefficiency and make its way back up to either 28K, 30K, 29K. Around this time period is probably where this type of price action that you're going to be looking for. And this wouldn't surprise me at all to see something like this. Again, though, if things get really bearish for other reasons, maybe we just simply see consolidation and another leg down. Again, very common behavior where we see this and then just boom, another leg down. And we saw this back several, really in a lot of different situations. We saw this obviously back in May on higher time frame point of view. And we kind of saw this too back in April of last year where, price had a strong move down from 48K, consolidated, and it never really truly made its way back up to some of these other levels like 45K before making it a leg down. So would really be cautious here, and just being very, very slow with anything I buy with Ethereum. Let's take a look. I'm sorry, with Bitcoin. Let's take a look quickly with Ethereum here. Ethereum, I still view ETH as like this overall huge range set back, since in July 2022. So it's been in this overall consolidation for about a year. And I mean, I know that this consolidation is quite the big range, right? It's 1,000 to 2,000. That's quite, a large range to play with overall, playing with 100% range. I do believe that, it's going to mostly follow Bitcoin. I don't see this really outperforming Bitcoin over the next little bit. And if Bitcoin makes another leg down, then I do believe that ETH will make another leg down as well. Certainly possible this goes down to like the $1,200 area. that's kind of where I would look to see if Bitcoin actually, made that strong leg down, like I said, 20K. This is probably going to go to about $1,100 to $1,000 is my guess, if that's what's going to happen. But never say never. I'm not sure if that's for sure obviously going to happen. Obviously, nobody knows in terms of trading. Anybody that does is super confident about that. You should be taking their advice with a little bit of caution, in my opinion, just because true traders really don't have any great feel in terms of very strong opinions of where the market's probably going to go in the next few months. It's up for anyone's opinion. I do believe that price is going to, similarly to Bitcoin, I wouldn't be surprised to see it trade a little bit lower, but wouldn't be surprised at all to see this kind of make some sort of lower high up to like $1,700, $1,800 areas. But still, just cautious with Ethereum. Don't really know if I'd be bidding this current area. If you do believe this low is going to hold, then you can probably just go ahead and buy, like, I don't know, 1550, 1570 or something like that. Maybe 1600 if you want to get a little bit in earlier. But overall, yeah, ETH is still just a very choppy consolidation. High time frame point of view, still not much going on overall. Anyways, I hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for the support. Take care.